Oh my gosh, what a way to end the game, man. Something smells. Something really does. Something smells so fishy because, dude, that call, what a call. What a call for the Calgary Flames against the Vancouver Canucks in tonight's Friday night matchup. What a bad call. The Vancouver Canucks have lost 5-4 against the Calgary Flames in overtime, in a game that was pretty good, honestly. Like, from an entertainment standpoint, this definitely did get the blood boiling, but ultimately, the ending was spoiled by a game-changing call by the referees towards the end of regulation, a game-saving save made by Jacob Markstrom at one end, and the ensuing odd-man rush in overtime as a result of that Markstrom save. The Canucks kind of got canucked in this one, and you know, it doesn't feel good, but at the same time, if you went to tonight's game, you probably got your money's worth in terms of an entertainment standpoint, because as I said, that game was entertaining. However, before we get into the game itself, we gotta talk about tonight and what this night has meant for the Vancouver Canucks as an organization. The Canucks used today to celebrate Pride Night. They had a whole bunch of initiatives that were amazing to see, welcoming those from the LGBTQ+ community, letting them know that hockey is a space where they are included, they're welcomed, and one where they should feel comfortable being in. And of course, you had the Pride jersey during the warm-ups, which was beautiful. It was designed by local artist Christina Herrick, and just the colors, the logo design, it's bold, it's bright, it stands out, it pops, and it's a good one. But unfortunately, a lot of the good that Pride Night represents for the Vancouver Canucks was overshadowed with the news that Andrei Kuzmenko would not participate and not wear the jersey during warm-up. And we're not going to spend too much time talking about this, but Rick Tocchet did say that it was a decision made with his family's input. Now, here's the thing. We know that in December, in Russia, there was the anti-LGBTQ propaganda law that was signed, and as a result, it put Russian players in a pretty weird spot. And because of the way that it was worded, signaling that it was Kuzmenko's family's input that made him decide to not wear the jersey, I find it kind of unproductive to ridicule Kuzmenko in the same way that other players like the Stalls or James Reimer or even Ivan Provorov, who cited religious reasons, were ridiculed. At the end of the day, if this is a situation where Kuzmenko is not trying to put his family at risk because there may be a risk, who really knows, then I can go out there and respect that. And sure, you could bring up the argument that other Russian players have put the jersey on. Evgeny Malkin wore the jersey, Bobrovsky, Panarin wore the jersey, but at the same time, not everybody is going to have that same level of risk tolerance. If a guy like Evgeny Malkin doesn't feel like there's an issue here, he's willing to go through that risk, then okay, it's great that he's wearing the jersey and supporting the cause. But if Andrei Kuzmenko does not feel that same level of security and safety should he make that decision to wear the jersey, then that's his prerogative. I'm not going to go out there and pretend to be some sort of an expert on everything that's going on in Russia, because Russia is a completely different world from ours. I think Donnie on Donnie and Dolly said that earlier on today's show. Am I disappointed that he's not wearing the jersey? Yes, for me personally, I'm very much disappointed. But, as we had said, if there's something else at play here that we just don't really have too much access to, if there's another layer of family security that's not really being illuminated at the moment, then with that idea in mind, I could totally understand why he wouldn't go through with it, if that is the case. And at the same time, one guy not wearing the jersey does not take away from the other 19 guys who did wear the jersey, plus all the initiatives the Canucks as an organization have done to hit a home run on this year's Pride Night, plus the videos that the Canucks have made talking about Pride and why it's important to allow people in the LGBTQ+ community to feel included, involved, and accepted in hockey. Because really, they should be. And with that, we go over onto the actual game, wherein the Vancouver Canucks got off to a pretty hot start. They started out the game 2-0, which was really good, especially against the Calgary Flames team that has been really up and down this entire year. Now, they seem to have been on somewhat of an up-and-up because Jacob Markstrom had started really being a lot more consistent these past few games. There have been many down moments of Markstrom from this year's worth of play alone, but heading into tonight's game, it appeared that he was on one of the upswings. So the Canucks getting off to a pretty good start, up 2-0 in the first period and a bit. Great stuff to see in the building. Conor Garland kicked things off with a breakaway goal, stealing the puck from Mikael Backlund at the Canucks' blue line, and then coming right in on Markstrom, cutting into the middle and shooting it far side. Very beautiful shot right there by Garland to get things up 1-0. Elias Pettersson gives the Canucks a 2-0 lead on the power play at the very start of the second period. The goal comes 36 seconds into the second period, and it's assisted by Quinn Hughes and Andrei Kuzmenko. So there you go. Kuzmenko getting on the board, Quinn Hughes adding to his assist totals as well. Very good isolation play there by the Canucks to keep control on that man advantage, but it's Quinn Hughes who goes over to Petey. Petey with the one-time blast, and it beats Markstrom far side. You could kind of see Marky looks a little confused after it goes in, but oh well. It beat him. That's the bottom line. You then had yourselves Tyler Toffoli, who eventually became the hero in this game, giving Calgary a fighting chance right back because just 2 minutes after the Petey goal, he gets himself on the board to make it 2-1. It's an unfortunate play where Tyler Myers and Guillaume Brisebois completely get beat out. It starts because Tyler Myers has a really bad giveaway at the Calgary blue line, and then it's Toffoli and who was it? Mangiapane just go back and forth right through the Canucks D. Very bad play. They all got turnstiled, that Brisebois and Myers pairing. Then give it a few more minutes, and it's Blake Coleman with his 18th of the season, assisted by Backlund and Troy Stecher. Makes everything tied up at 2. Very unfortunate for Vancouver after having the 2-0 lead, but it's a pretty nice play, all things considered. The Flames with some pretty good puck possession. It's thrown onto the goal. The rebound pops out, and Blake Coleman is there to slide it right by Thatcher Demko. 3 minutes later, though, this is where things get fun for Vancouver Canucks young guys, as it's Aidan McDonough who gets his first NHL goal, assisted by Jack Studnicka and Sheldon Dries. This is a great play here by the bottom line of Vancouver, as Jack Studnicka is on the side of the net. He's trying to spin and throw it on goal, but he doesn't really get it to go on goal. Instead, it kind of just flutters in the slot, and it's Sheldon Dries, who is on his knees, who no-look throws it to the opposite back door. And it's right there for Aidan McDonough to pot in that rebound by Markstrom. 3-2 lead for Vancouver. A few minutes left to go in the second period, but just a few minutes after that McDonough goal, you have yourselves another very bad play by Myers and Brisebois. Unfortunate to see they had themselves a pretty bad few minutes in this game, but it's Troy Stecher, ultimately, who gets the goal because both Myers and Brisebois are focusing in on Kadri. Stecher is the last man back. He gets the pass. He gets the shot. So much space, so much time. It's now a 3-3 hockey game, but the Canucks respond literally, 14 seconds after? Anthony Beauvillier, 2-on-1 chance with Myers and Oman getting the assists. Very nice play here by Beauvillier to go to Oman, back over to Beauvillier, backdoor cross-crease pass on Markstrom, and Beauvillier makes no mistake. That's his 17th goal on the season. Vancouver takes a 4-3 lead into the third period. And the only goal scored in the third is on a power play at the end of the frame by Jonathan Huberdeau. This power play was controversial because Elias Pettersson got the call, and it was for high sticking. Unfortunately, though, this high sticking was pretty much the most bogus, worst high sticking call that you'll probably see this year. The guy stick lifted Elias Pettersson, and because Petey got stick lift, that's why his stick was in the guy's face. Very just unintentional, sort of selling it kind of call. You could see the body language of the guy that got slashed afterwards, and the Canucks end up giving out the power play goal towards the end there because of it. 4-4 game. You could see Rick Tocchet was livid on the bench. Canucks fans in the building livid on social media too. And it doesn't make it any better when Kyle Burrows throws the puck over the glass the very next play, giving Calgary another power play opportunity. Now, they didn't score on that final opportunity. It got to overtime. But at the end of the day, this is how the game ends, because it's Quinn Hughes, Phil DiGiuseppe, and Dakota Joshua who have an offensive zone draw. The Canucks maintain possession. It's DiGiuseppe who wins it back to Hughes. And eventually, DiGiuseppe finds Joshua in front for a beautiful cross-crease pass that gets robbed away by Markstrom. But the Flames are able to recover. They go on a 2-on-1 afterwards. Cross-crease over to Toffoli. He scores, and that's it. That's game. In a situation where you probably should not have even seen it gone to overtime because of how that power play was handed out to Calgary. Just a terrible call on Elias Pettersson. Full send right there. At the end of the day, though, the Canucks did convert on the few shots that they had. They only had 20 shots on goal in this one, and Markstrom made 16 saves, so he had an .800 save percentage. He did make, I think, 1 or 2 really amazing saves. The one in overtime, of course, comes to mind, and then there was another one on another cross crease, I believe. But Thatcher Demko really did stand tall in this one. He had 41 shots against. He made 36 saves, so an .878 save percentage. The goals he let in weren't even really his fault. They were cross creases and 2-on-1s and breakaways and all that. He stopped a Jonathan Huberdeau penalty shot, too. There was that we didn't even talk about, so yeah. Thatcher Demko was great today. It's just Vancouver's not able to squeak out the win after Elias Pettersson gets called for something that he didn't even really do. So, thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks and the Flames game tonight. Thoughts about Pride Night. Thoughts about the result. Troy Stecher getting on the board. Tyler Toffoli getting on the board. The PTSD is hitting us hard, fam. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.